Hey guys, welcome back to part 2 of my making a knife from a wagon wheel tire series. In this part, I will grind the shape of the knife, the surroundings, and the surface, and I will hand sand it to prepare it for a heat treat and the quench. So have fun. So after I ground the outer shape of the knife, it's now going on my surface grinder to flatten for flattening of the surface. This machine is a homebrew. Often people ask me about it. I made it myself from an old parallel mill. I had I had many hours of help from a good friend of mine to make this thing happen, and yeah, well, there it is. Runs pretty good, pretty straight, and the deviations from absolute flatness, I don't know, are minimal, and the deviations in thickness are some, I don't know, zero point 0.1 millimeter, a tenth of a millimeter maybe, which is quite the same. And um, yeah, this is really good help, the machine. Um, it's really cutting the effort down. People also keep asking me about these magnet chucks I use. These are the pretty cheap ones you get from China. Um, Here in Europe, they are about 65 euros each, shipping and handling included. And yeah, the questions are always, do they work? And yes, they do. They are pretty cool. And on the price, 65 euros, it's well, I'm absolutely happy to have them. Um, if you're planning to use them though, you should, or if you are planning to use more than one in pairs like I do here, you should order them in pairs because every batch of these things has a different height. So you'll be ending up machining them down or whatever. If you buy them in a pair, you get two of the same batch, and you mostly get the same height then. I always drill more holes in the tank than I need for the pins. That is to reduce the handle weight, and I think it helps the scales stick on because the glue can go through the tang. So here, as an explanation, is the life insurance for my hands. This pin prevents the blade from flipping around whenever the drill catches. That's cool because you can prevent very severe injuries on your hand with that. Did you know that daikon burns? So after bluing the blade, I'm scribing the lines for the bevel, or for the bevels. I always scribe a middle line, um, like you see there, from two sides. Um, it doesn't have to be exactly in the middle, because if you do it from two sides, you will have a rough estimation of where the middle actually is. The thing is that if you are grinding this on the belt grinder, you you can look only from the top, so this line in the middle is the only thing you see, and you can decide if you come too close to the line, then you might have the bevel too deep. So this is your orientation. So here now I'm marking where the plunge line for the bevel should end. Um, I have calculated the height of the bevel and the angles of the bevel. You can see that on my Facebook page somewhere down the timeline. It's the explanation how you do that, or you can ask me directly. So this is all calculated, and normally I do hit the line pretty precisely. So that now gets latched onto my grinding jig. This enables me to grind a very precise angle for the bevels. I'm masking it to, because those magnets are pretty strong, and if there's some debris or something like metal shavings on the magnets, you get those very deep scratches on the blade, and well, I have to sand it, so I don't want to sand those scratches out. That's why I'm masking it. So now I'm dialing in the angle of the bevel. I calculated it to be well 5.71 degrees, and so I'll dial in roughly 6 degrees of bevel angle, and that will be perfect. That will work. It always does. So if that sounds a bit like Darth Vader is working there, this is my respirator. Um, that makes quite awful noises. So now that I've flipped the blade around, I have the already ground bevel to the jig, and to prevent the blade from bowing away, I shim it with some metal strips and cut-offs. So that worked very good. And as you can see there, the bevel is inside the scribed lines. Um, well, went really good. So, and now you see pictures because my battery died on me, and I could squeeze out a few pictures before, before the phone completely shut off. And that is the beginning of hand sanding. Um, I sanded the blade up to some 600 grit on one side, and I think 320 on the other side. But you see, there's my technique. I always go round and then I go straight. And if you have all the roundish marks ground off, you know that you're on grit, and that works pretty fine. So here's the next day. Um, I've just returned from night shift, and I then tried to cheat a bit on the blade with the disc sander, but I very nearly ruined the blade. So I sentenced myself to hand sanding penalty and ground the whole piece to some 1500 grit. Um, that is very, very, very shortcut of what I've done today. Must have been hours of hand sanding, but I've cut it down to 2 minutes for your convenience. Could have shown you everything, but nah, that was would be quite too much. And of course, after being way behind bedtime today, um, and me being absolutely proud of the hand sanding, I just had to buff it, just because um, I wanted to see how it looks. It's not perfectly ready now, and maybe it could do some more fine hand sanding, but this thing will be heat treated and quenched, and I will have the chance to hand sand some more and then to polish the blade, and I think that will be fine. So, but then I think I have to apologize because this part is already so long um, that I will do the heat treat and the quench in the next part. So, well, sorry for that, and folks, thanks for watching.